My name is Antti Saviola, and I have two roles today in here. I'm the founder of Novice Ltd, and my company provides public procurement and also P2P procurement consultancies. And I do also offer motivational speeches and motivational coaching. So today I'm going to combine those two fields, public procurement and motivational speaking. Let's see how I will succeed. But today I will have also another role. I'm acting as a procurement agent at the Pirkanmaa-Tampere region in Finland and at the Keino organization. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Keino organization and our national fund experiences from there. So basically, this is my presentation today. Short introduction about the Keino, and then the most important thing for today's subject. And for the most important thing, when I'm going to present that slide, please have a little bit humor with you. So give a smile, give the possibility to yourself to smile a little bit when I present the slide. And at the end, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the different possibilities, what we have in Finland and different models. I think there might be some models which are familiar to you also, but let's take a more detailed information about those anyway. So, Keino is a competence center for sustainable and innovative public procurement, founded by Finnish government, and the founding members are companies which is owned by Finnish government, and there are lots of different kind of operators and companies, and they all have their own priorities and aspects. For example, VTT Technical Research Center has this innovation and research point of view for the procurements. Association of Finnish Local and Regional Authorities has they are supporting the Finnish public authorities to implement procurements. And then there is Motiva, which has the sustainable point of view for the procurements. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Finnish innovation fund called Sitra, and also funding agency for innovation called Business Finland. Keino's main objectives for the following years are the number of innovative and sustainable procurements in Finland increases. So what I'm doing as a procurement agent at the Keino organization is that I'm supporting, helping, encouraging the Finnish procurement authorities to try and implement new ways to do public procurements from sustainable and innovative point of view. Then public procurement is recognized and actively used as a management tool, which is really important aspect. And also that contracting entities openly disseminate information on their own experiences and learn from one another. So, the most important thing. Now I would like to see a little bit smile on your faces, a little bit humor maybe, because we have to be willing to change the way we see things, our way of doing things and our mindset. Because that is the only way to do something new with something innovative, with new methods and with new funding instruments also. And I put there one old wisdom which is to follow. Doing the same old things with same old methods and believing that something will change is one form of stupidity. Do you agree? So why this is so important? I'm going to tell you a short story which has nothing to do with public procurement, but which has everything to do with mindset. Two of my family members have been in severe car accident, in different times, in different car accidents. One is paralyzed, and one has 60% disability. So quite severe car accidents, right? So how they survived? How did they get their life back? How did they get their health back? With that kind of mindset. They were willing to do something new. They were willing to do something with new mindset. They were willing to change their attitude, and they were willing to cooperate with others. And that is the most important thing. It doesn't matter, are we working with public procurements, are we working with business owners or entrepreneurs or whatsoever, we can always change our mindset, our attitude, and we can always leave our egos behind. Because when we have our egos with us, we cannot cooperate. It doesn't matter how much money we can use or how much funds we can use for the innovation or whatsoever. We cannot have our ego with us when we cooperate. So we have to smile and continue with that. So do not react, just act, because reacting is a monologue and acting is a dialogue. Every time we react, it is something like, and we cannot cooperate, right? So please keep this in your mind when you start to implement sustainable or innovative public procurements or whatsoever, cooperation with different business owners or so on. Be always have the mindset which is full of positive and so on. So, and for that, when it comes for the public procurement, and especially when we are going to do something new, when we are going to purchase or buy something new, I usually encourage my customers to use these kind of methods. So use market dialogue possibilities before the tendering process even starts. Because that is the most important. When we have already started the procurement process, and if we notice something, oh, we should do this in different way or something like that, then we are already in late to do that. So use market dialogue possibilities before the tendering process even starts. So, and with that, we can make the trustful cooperation platform with tenderers, of course. And in some speeches before me, they were said something about the competitive dialogue and negotiated procedures. We have heard something about innovative partnership procurement and also sustainable and innovative pilot procurement. And one which we have seen in Finland and especially in Tampere in recent years is the alliance model. How many of you have heard about the alliance model? At least few have heard. Because the alliance model, which is used mainly at the constructions procurement, can be used perfectly also in ICT procurements, social and healthcare procurements, and so on. Because the model, I'm not going to tell in more detail about the model, but the model is perfectly suitable for every kind of procurements. It doesn't matter is it innovative or sustainable or whatsoever, do we have funds from different operators for that. But the alliance model is something which I encourage you all to take a look in more detail. And something about the different possibilities for the funding instruments. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Finnish innovation fund called Sitra and their SIP model. SIP is a social impact bond, and I will tell you a little bit more about that and also what kind of possibilities there are, what we have done in Finland so far. And if you have some questions for that, I will try to do my best to answer those, but because I'm not the Sitra expert and I'm not the SIP model expert, there might be the possibilities that I'm not able to give you the straight answers, but for sure I will forward those to Sitra experts and so on. So, SIP comes from the words social impact bonds, and that encourages target investments in well-being. Agreements are drafted so that all parties, the public sector, investors and services providers benefit. And the SIP model is a form of impact investing. And in SIP, institutional and private investors fund services that promote well-being and assume that the risk associated with the provision of these services. And the SIP agreement is a tool for systemic change. The SIP model has been used in at least in few countries in Europe and also in other countries around the world, but it is not so widely used as it should be, and well, at least from my mind. And the main thing is that the public sector only pays for results that are in line with the set targets. Because there might be the case that the public sector, the buyer, the public authority has quite good targets and quite good plans for the needs, but they don't have the fund, they don't have the courage to invest from their own money in a way. So this is the perfect model for that. So what Sitra does? At the moment, there are 5 social impact bonds being introduced in Finland at the moment, and they advise various parties, the public sector, project administration and service providers, on how to prepare for these agreements. And for example, Sitra provides local authorities with support in the financial and operational modeling of their well-being projects. And so basically in the SIP, in the social impact bond agreement, there are 4 different parties, 4 different operators. The buyer of the results, which is the public sector organization, the service provider, company or organization, and the service financier, which is the private investor. I'm going to give you a list about the investors which are involved at the moment in the projects in Finland. And the fourth operator is the project administration, who is the responsible for the coordination of the agreement. So in Finland, that would be the Sitra, and I believe that all of you have Sitra kind of operators who can be the operator for the total platform. At the moment, SIPs are already being trialed in Finland in 2 projects. The first of these engages occupational well-being in public sector, and the other project headed by the Minister of Economic Affairs and Employment accelerates the employment of immigrants. And at the moment, there are 7 SIP portfolios up and running or underway in Finland, and here is the list for them: occupational well-being, fast employment and integration of immigrants, promotion of children's, families and youth well-being, advancing unemployment, support of the elderly, independence, type 2 diabetes prevention and environmental impact bond. And for those projects, there are these kind of investors. First, and maybe the biggest one, is European Investment Fund, V Foundation, which is a Finnish foundation for the called Me-säätiö, Finnish Orthodox Church, S Group, Tradeka, Sevatek, and also a few private investors. And I believe that these kind of investors are that kind of operators which we all have in different countries in Finland, in Europe. And for example, the S Group is quite a big group in Finland, who is working on the groceries market in a way, but they also have different instruments for these applications also. And the main thing is that the buyer, the public organization, the public authority is only use their own money when they are getting the results what they need. I think I will have a little bit time for tell a few issues from the Business Finland, which is the Finnish funding agency for innovation. They have different kind of funding instruments, also for the entrepreneurs and business owners and companies, but also for the public authorities, for the innovative public procurement projects. So basically, in these funding instruments, they have also the main same kind of aspects, so that they are only buying the results. They are only used for the goals and results. For example, having lower life cycle costs, offering better quality, employing innovative and more efficient production processes, and environmental friendliness. And when we are buying the end results, we have to change again our way of thinking, because, for example, we are not going to buy light bulbs, we are going to buy illumination. We are not going to buy doctors, we are going to buy health. We are not going to buy Mercedes-Benz, we are going to buy transportation. So we are always going to buy the end results. For example, the environmental friendliness, which is the end result. And few of these different types of procurements, we have heard something about these already today, so I'm not going to tell in more detail about those. But Business Finland has these 3 different types of procurements. One is purchasing a new product or service, or pre-commercial product, or catalyst procurement. And this third one, catalyst procurement, is step before the pre-commercial procurement. Same kind of aspects, same kind of ingredients in a way, but a little bit in the earlier stage. And once again, the procurement size and cooperation, main aspects. And for these, Business Finland funding instruments are usually the 50% of the project total costs. But there are also different kind of instruments for the entrepreneurs or business owners or companies, and those might be almost 75% of the total costs. But this public procurement or innovative public procurement, that is usually 50%. And they pay the funding retrospectively based on the recipient's project report and cost statements. And here are my own information, so if there are any questions, you can always take contact to me, and I would be happy to meet you all in your home countries and give this presentation for your own colleagues and operators if you need any possibilities for that. But if you have any questions, I would love to answer those questions, and if I'm not able to answer those, I will forward your questions to Sitra experts and the SIP model experts, and you will get your answers later on. But please share your questions if you have any.